Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisance of Guru Shri Prabhupada. Welcome devotees to today's Bhagavatam class. Today we continue with Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 2, Verse 13. And the chapter is entitled The Lord in the Heart. We are going from the first chapter titled The First Chapter, God Realization. Now we're going to the Lord in the Heart, getting to the Paramatma discussion. Very, very, very sweet. And we are very happy to have His Holiness Candramauli Swami with us. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you and Shri Prabhupada Maharaj.
Haribol.
And it's all yours, Maharaj.
My obeisances. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ekaka Sangani Divya Nubhavayat. Adadiyadvan Dasitam Gadabritaha. Chitam chitam stano apoyadarayat param param sunyati diryata yata. Translation. The process of meditation should begin from the lotus feet of the Lord and progress to his smiling face. The meditation should be concentrated upon the lotus feet of the, and then the calves, then the thighs, then this way higher and higher. The more the mind becomes purified, fixed upon the different parts of the limbs, one after another, the more the intelligence becomes purified. Purport. The process of meditation recommended in the Srimad Bhagavatam is not to fix one's attention on something impersonal or void. The meditation should concentrate on the person of the Supreme Godhead, either in his Virat Roop, the gigantic universal form, or in his Satchidananda Vigraha, as described in the scriptures. There are authorized descriptions of the Vishnu forms, and they are authorized representations of deities in the temples. Thus one can practice meditating upon the deity, concentrating his mind on the lotus feet of the Lord, and gradually rising higher and higher up to his smiling face. According to Bhagavad school, the Lord's rasa dancing is the smiling face of the Lord. Since it is recommended in this verse that one should gradually progress up to the lotus feet, up to the smiling face, we shall now jump at once to understand the Lord's pastimes in the rasa dance. It is better to practice concentrating our attention by offering flowers and tulasi to the lotus feet of the Lord. In this way, we gradually become purified by the archana process. We dress the Lord, bathe him, etc. And all these transcendental activities help us purify our existence. When we reach the higher standard of purification, if we see the smiling face of the Lord or hear the rasa dance pastimes of the Lord, then we can relish his activities. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, therefore, the rasa dance pastimes are delineated in the 10th canto, chapters 29 through 34. The more one concentrates on the transcendental form of the Lord, either on the lotus feet, the calves, the thighs, or the chest, the more one becomes purified. And this verse is clearly stated, the more the intelligence becomes purified, which means the more one becomes detached from sense gratification. Our intelligence in the present conditioned state of life is impure due to being engaged in sense gratification. The results of meditation on the transcendental form of the Lord will be manifested by one's detachment from sense gratification. Therefore, the ultimate purpose of meditation is purification of one's intelligence. Those who are engrossed in sense gratification cannot be allowed to participate in archana or to touch the transcendental form of the Radha, Krishna, or Vishnu deities. For them, it is better to meditate upon the gigantic Virat Roop of the Lord, as recommended in the next verse. The impersonalists and the voidists are therefore recommended to meditate upon the universal form of the Lord, whereas the devotees are recommended to meditate on the deity worship in the temple. Because the impersonalists and the voidists are not sufficiently purified in their spiritual activities, archana is not meant for them. Om Vijnantamidam Dasya Gnana Salakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Pastyatya Desatarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Pe Bacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here is the process for purifying the intelligence, but it's a twofold process. The process is to concentrate on the transcendental body of the Lord. The transcendental body of the Lord is a purifying agent for both the mind, the intelligence, and the senses. Simply we look at the forms in this world, we become attracted to these forms, or we become adverse to these forms. Now, these attraction and aversion to the forms of this world are all part of the material arrangement to keep the conditioned soul connected to the material energy for sense gratification. These forms in this material world are not transcendental because these forms are not permanent. They're constantly changing, and the substance of the form is also constantly changing also. So this, therefore, the intelligence, when directed towards material, becomes what is called polluted, because its intelligence by nature is a feature of the soul's existence also. The soul has a transcendental mind, the soul has a transcendental intelligence. But when that same transcendental intelligence gets covered by the material energy in the form of the three modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, then it cannot perceive the actual reality of the Lord's existence. Therefore, those whose intelligence are not purified, although they see the transcendental form of the Lord, they have no attraction for that. And because they have no attraction, they remain pure. Their intelligence remains unpurified, means polluted. It's called aruna krichena padam. They fall down. Their intelligence is rita gyan. It's disturbed, and therefore they cannot understand reality because they are seeing illusion, which is the ephemeral forms of this world, as being the attracting feature, and therefore they are absorbed in the illusion and not in the reality. And being absorbed in the illusion means to be absorbed in ignorance. So here is for the devotees, here's the method to purify the intelligence, starting with meditating on the transcendental forms of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada describes in one lecture that when we are in the temple and the curtains of the deities open, the initial response is to fix your mind on the lotus feet of the Lord. You fix your gaze at the lotus feet of the Lord. Gradually move up his transcendental body to the smiling face of the Lord, back down to the feet of the Lord, and then offer one's obeisances. That's how obeisances are properly offered to the Lord in his deity forms when he appears for his darshan. Sometimes devotees don't know that, and they just stand there and stare, or they just look this way and that way, or whatever goes on. But there's a way to approach the Lord, and that's described here in a more systematic way, in a day-to-day regulated way of purification. And here it always starts with the lotus feet of the Lord. The lotus feet of the Lord signifies pure devotional service. So by placing one's mind at the lotus feet of the Lord, one is actually asking for pure devotional service. The lotus feet of the Lord are the purifying agents by which one can overcome all obstacles in devotional service. One simply remembers the lotus feet of the Lord. All of the obstacles in one's devotional service are immediately destroyed simply by remembering the lotus feet of the Lord. The lotus feet of the Lord are very significant because they bring us to pure devotional service. But here it mentions that we can also progress to a higher level of meditation by keeping our mind fixed on different parts of the Lord's body, all the way up to the smiling face of the Lord, which represents, as Bhakti Siddhanta explains, that the different cantos in the Srimad Bhagavatam are analogous to the transcendental form of the Lord. His lotus feet are like the first and second canto. His thighs, or you say the calves, third canto, thighs, fourth. The midwaist is fifth, all the way up. Smiling face of the Lord is the 10th canto. And the essence of the 10th canto, as described here, is the 29th and 34th through 34th chapter, where Krishna performs his, what we say, ultimate spiritual pastime, or the most intimate spiritual pastimes, the rasa dance. When we sing the Damodar Astaka, the last line in the Damodar Astaka, in the last verse of the Damodar Astaka, indicates meditating on the Lord's transcendental form as he performs his rasa dance, which is the highest or most intimate of all his transcendental pastimes. But those who try to jump ahead without having the qualifications automatically misunderstand, and their consciousness becomes disturbed. They cannot understand the Lord's pastimes. Their intelligence speculates according to their material conceptions, and they relegate things to a material understanding. But nothing about the Lord is material, it's transcendental. But transcendental is something one has to qualify themselves in order to understand. And here's the process for qualification. Here, gradual meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord, all the way up to the higher forms like that. And it says, Bhakti Siddhanta takes that analogy of the lotus form of the Lord all the way up to the highest, and he says the 11th canto is the forehead and the 12th canto is the top of the head. So it's not some imaginary idea, it is, because Srimad Bhagavatam is none different than Krishna. And when we see Bhagavatam according to the different stages of Bhagavatam, moving from the first canto, gradually moving through the cantos, and becoming purified as we hear and chant the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, we qualify ourselves to enter into the 10th canto to understand more clearly. We are more equipped to understand more clearly the pastimes of the Lord in his most amazing and transcendental feature as Krishna in Vrindavan. And that is the essence of Bhagavatam. Of course, this is described in so many ways. But people don't want to go through the process of purification. They want to just jump around to different places and try with their unpurified intelligence to understand Krishna. It's not possible. And one can only imagine what's happening, and therefore imagination is never correct. So one has to follow the process, and that is also true as we practice the whole process of bhakti, which Rupa Goswami very carefully and scientifically explains that there are 9 stages of bhakti, and one cannot jump to the higher stages unless they go through the lower stages. It's similar to taking an education in a university, or you might even say a general education. We start from the lower grades and then we move up to the higher grades as we become more qualified to accept the knowledge given in the higher grades. So it's the same analogy or same process. Cannot artificially try to understand the Lord simply because we want to. The process is there. That's why you find people who are in the scholarly academic world, they try to understand and write about the Lord. But it's like, as it says here, by Bhakti Siddhanta, he says, it's like licking the outer bottle of honey without opening the contents and taking the essence. Because they're not qualified to open because they haven't followed the process. The process is hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord and adhering to the process of worshiping the Lord as described by the Shastras and especially by one's spiritual master. One cannot overshadow the instructions of the spiritual master or the Shastras or the sadhus and expect to understand. It is simply imagination, whatever they understand, that's all. Because the intelligence is not purified. It is just like there's people who can do calculus really like natural, really easy. But if you're not trained in higher mathematics, it looks just like, some confusion written on paper. You can, it's almost like a language you don't understand. In the same way, spiritual knowledge is revealed and understood and applied simply by adhering to the systematic process of bhakti. We see sometimes people become eager for higher knowledge and they want to skirt or go fast through the process, but it's not possible. And because obviously it's building our consciousness to the prophet. And then when a consciousness reaches a certain level, at every level there is more and more realization of Krishna, Krishna's name, the activities of his devotees, his personal activities and his different incarnations, and ultimately the knowledge of the rasa dance, which is the highest of all expressions of Krishna's pastimes, especially in Sri Vrindavan Dham. Now, this is the process. One cannot, and Prabhupada mentions here there's 2 classes of people, the voidists and the impersonalists. The personalists only imagine the form of the Lord. They create or accept the form of the Lord as being imaginary in order to reach the impersonal understanding of God. They think that the forms of the Lord are simply there in order to focus one's attention, but ultimately the goal is to go beyond the forms into the formless. And therefore they can't, because they see the forms as being imagination, they cannot understand how to benefit by meditating on the form of the Lord, which is not imagination. It is Krishna is a person. God is a person. He's called the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And whenever you see or you ever hear the word person, person means personality. It means qualities. It means characteristics. It means activities. And of course, obviously, it means forms also. So everything about God is there. And just like we understand things in this world from the materialist perspective, that when you meet a person, he has a form, he has certain characteristics, he has certain ways of doing things. All of that makes up the quality of a personality. But the avoidists think that there is no form at all, and you can imagine whatever form you want. And the voidists actually think that there is no form, and you just meditate on nothing. But nobody can meditate on nothing because you have to meditate on something. The activities of the mind have to be directed to something and not to nothing. There's no such thing as nothing. Nothing doesn't exist. Everywhere there is something. So it's another illusion. Because these personalities don't want to engage in devotional service. They want to somehow or other understand higher knowledge through somewhat of a concocted process. So we find that the different spiritual groups either accept impersonalism, voidism, or some kind of pantheism, something, but they don't understand. Because they don't understand, their intelligence remains hritikyan, disturbed, unpurified. And those who practice carefully jnana yoga and even elements of karma yoga and various types of elevation process, even if they attain certain levels of purification, Padantiyada, the verse explains by Lord Brahma, they fall down again. Why? Because avasuddha buddhaya. Buddhaya means intelligence, and avasuddha means impure. Because their intelligence is impure, and impure intelligence means they do not accept the form of the Lord, or they think the form of the Lord is simply an imagination. Therefore, they fall down again into material life to take up material activities again. No. So this is, unless one comes to bhakti, where everything is described, because bhakti also, in its description, it says, whatever you see in this world is a perverted reflection of the actual reality. The reality has substance. The reflection has no substance, but it looks like the reality. That's why people are attached to this material world, because it looks real. And they think it's real, but it's not. It's just imagination, because things are always changing and things are never permanent. And the substance that makes up the material world cannot fulfill the need of the soul, because the soul is by nature spiritual, and everything in this world is materially temporary. So in that illusion, they struggle simply for the happiness that they're trying to attain and never attain it. Because you can't eat the food in the mirror. You might be hungry, you put a plate of food right in front of the mirror, and it looks like the mirror has food. You go into the mirror, or try to, and eat the food there, you'll simply, become frustrated at best. So, so this material world is just a reflection of the reality. The reality is the spiritual world, where Krishna is there in his transcendental form. And here is how to attain his association through, even while in the material world, by simply placing our gaze upon the transcendental form of the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada established temples all around the world to place worship of the deity form of the Lord, so the devotees and others can become purified simply by meditating on the transcendental form of the Lord, by worshiping that transcendental form of the Lord, and ultimately becoming purified through that process. Because Krishna is the supreme pure, and anything that comes in contact with him also becomes somewhat purified, depending on the approach of that pure element. If one is approaching with the desire to understand and keeping one's mind focused, then gradually that purification process happens. And then the mind becomes clear, things become revealed, and one can start to see Krishna as he is. As Srila Prabhupada was talking to one gentleman, they were standing in front of the deities, and Prabhupada looked at him and said, if you could see, you could see Radha and Krishna are having their exchanging pastimes right there on the altar. Prabhupada could see because he had transcendental vision. But that's a very high state of purification. But devotees do get some purification, just like there is one story that I came across. One girl, she was telling me she was from Bosnia, and she went to Vrindavan, and she was in Vrindavan, and she was taking darshan of Radhasham Sundar in Vrindavan. And that particular darshan that day, Radharani had an apple in her hand, and she was holding the apple. And she was really meditating on that. And then she saw that that particular darshan was very attractive. So the next day she also came back, and the darshan was different. But as she was watching the darshan the second day, the pujari came walking towards her with an apple and said to her, I don't know, but Radharani has directed me towards you to give you this apple. But Radharani has explained that this apple is not for you. You're to give it to this other girl, and he named the girl. And he said, this other girl is pregnant. She's 6 months pregnant, and she's also undergoing difficulty in her pregnancy. If she eats this apple, she will become free from all of her difficulties. And when there will be a girl that will be born, and that girl should be named Radharani. So she was amazed to hear all this. She took the apple, found the girl. She actually knew the girl. He gave it to her, and the girl explained, yes, I am having difficulties in my pregnancy. She ate the apple, and everything was okay. And after some time, a girl was born, and she got the name Radharani. So when we see the deities, we think, oh, it's very nice, but the Lord is there. Radharani is there. Gaurnitai is there. Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, Maharani, they're there. It's not, we're not there. We have to get there. And we can get there simply by purifying our intelligence through the process of chanting the holy names of the Lord and serving the Lord in various ways. And gradually, when we see the beautiful form of the Lord, then tears will come to the eyes, and one will become extraordinarily happy and surrender to the Lord in devotion. Okay, so this is a very interesting purported verse and very instructive for all of us.
Thank you so much for the wonderful pastime, Maharaj. Really amazing and wonderful class. Would like to ask devotees, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to ask Prakshit to stop sharing, and would request devotees to please, wherever you can, turn on your cameras so that we can have each other's association. And also, if you have a question, please do raise your hand or put in the chat. We have already gotten a question from Vishabhadas Prabhu, and I'm going to read it. Maharaj, he says, Hare Krishna, dear Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. All good to Srila Prabhupada. What is the qualifications of the sadhu? As today, I see that beginner devotees take any senior Vaishnava by years as ultimate authority to everything but are contradictory to Shastra. Would like to have clear understanding on this?
They take the seniors, the devotees as everything. What is the second part?
They take the senior devotee as ultimate authority to everything but are contradictory to Shastra.
What is that supposed to mean?
Rishabha Prabhu, would you like to explain?
What does it mean contradictory to Shastra? If they take them as authority, why would they see them as contradictory to Shastra? It's like
Mar-
Krishna,
Go ahead, Rishabha Prabhu.
please accept my humble best. Sorry for my really bad English. I was mentioning that young devotees, they don't have a discrimination, and they see some elderly, I would say, elderly Vaishnava, who is like, he looks like he's learned, but if you see his etiquette, if you see the way how he associates with the devotees, what he propagates, you would see that he's not actually in the line of Guru Sadhushatra. But young devotees see him as authority because he looks elderly, he looks like he speaks wisely and everything, and they, sometimes when you speak with them, they're like, where do you hear this from? It's like, yeah, from this, this person, we should hear about this from the sadhus, and it's like, oh my God, not again. So I just want to know what's the clear understanding? Who is the sadhu? Okay, the guru, you can be like, it's more like clear, but what about the sadhu? How to be sure who is the sadhu and who is not the sadhu? And so on.
a fool will remain attractive until he speaks. As soon as they speak, then you can understand who is a sadhu and who's not, who is speaking properly and who is not. But new people may not even understand even what is right and what is wrong, and therefore they have to be educated first. That's why we should train them in the science of bhakti by giving them classes and encouraging them to read the books.
I hope that helped, Rishabha Prabhu, if that answered your question.
That's a perfect answer. And sometimes I feel like fearful that these people do not come in contact with such fake sadhus before we manage to teach them all these things. Because of course, in the first day you speak with someone new person, you will not be like, we should be aware of the sadhus and anyway, so it's a challenge, But yeah, I understand, Maharaj. It's a tricky part.
Just like when you know what's right, then you know what is not right. So the people need to be educated. That's our first business when we bring people in, is to engage them in service, at the same time educate them. That's why Prabhupada started the Bhagavad Gita classes. He started Bhagavatam classes. We give people the books, encourage them to read, ask questions based on what they read. So it's a process of learning and then understanding.
Thank you, Maharaj. Now I'll try my best.
Yeah, and then when they come to you with wrong ideas, then you correct them.
Maharaj, that point that you mentioned, that our first business is to teach, guide, and educate, is similar to the first of the 7 purposes of the mission.
Right.
It's right there. The first one is to educate, which is important. Yes. Maharaj, there's another question from Bhakti Bani. Why do some temples charge for Bhagavad Gita classes for the new people when Prabhupada never did this?
What do you mean he never did? He had Bhagavad Gita classes every night.
She was saying about that the temples charge for the classes, and Prabhupada never charged for the classes.
No, I don't think, why should this, yeah, I don't know any temple that charges for classes, at least from my experience. If you know it is, then tell them to go out and do Sankirtan and make money instead of start charging people for classes. That's not our process. We're not a business. The temples should preach, make devotees, distribute books, and have programs for fundraising. And that way the temples can provide that back in the form of knowledge and different festivals. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati would have big festivals and invite 20,000 people, and they would feed. They would have lectures and they would feed everyone free, 20,000. So it's the business of the temples, is to raise the necessary funds through the process of preaching, devotional service. It all comes automatically. You preach, money will come. There's no question about that. If you're not preaching, then you devise all of these cheating ways to get money.
Thank you, Marge. Silpesh Prabhu posted that the School of Bhakti charges for their courses.
Well, that's a little different. That's an organized system that they have particular, and it's more of a choice. You can choose that, but you can still get regular education through the regular classes that are available in the temple. It's not like that's the only way. I don't want to really get into that. That's debatable whether it's necessary to charge or not. There are many reasons why. They do charge for whatever reason. Also, they charge to keep certain people away who are not serious. Only the ones who are actually serious will pay some money to learn. But these are exclusive courses that are set aside and different than what we offer to the general mass of people through our regular programs in the temples.
Thank you, Maharaj. If there are questions from devotees, please do raise your hand, or you can put it in the chat and I'll be happy to read it. Marge, I have a question as you were reading the purport, and it's so nicely explained by Srila Prabhupada how to start from the feet of the Lord up to the smiling face, and the smiling face is where Srila Prabhupada says is to understand the Lord's pastimes in the rasa dance. Marge, what was coming to my mind was what is the danger when one jumps from the feet, and skips the feet and goes to the face and tries to understand the Lord's pastimes and the rasa dance? What is the danger that devotee will experience if they do that?
You'll misunderstand. If you try to understand higher education before you get the basic knowledge of education, if you don't go through basic arithmetic, how are you going to understand calculus? It's impossible. You have to approach the process gradually as given by the process. The process teaches the knowledge, but also teaches how to gain the knowledge, and that is a systematic approach. You'll see all educational systems gradually teach according to certain levels, and then when one moves from one level, they go to the next level. Same with bhakti, it's like that.
And Marge, if I can piggyback on the same question, Marge, when someone it's in that situation or in that position where they misunderstand the concept of the bhakti, the sense of bhakti by skipping, what is the characteristic of that person? Like, is it like Sahajya? Is it like Mayavad? Or how do they behave? What is their How do they preach? What's their, their characteristics or symptoms?
They think they compare to Krishna's activities to something that they experience here in this material world. That's one of them. That's the material way. Mayavadis think it's just some stories that help you understand spiritual knowledge, but the stories are fabricated in order to give you certain knowledge. That's all. What is it? What is the other? Sahajiyas, they try to imitate these things in their own way and think it's, Krishna danced with so many girls, and therefore, I can also do that because God is teaching by example, and therefore we should follow him. There's more cheating than the real thing.
Blame it on Krishna.
The real thing is very rare and very pure. But people don't want, in order to get that, there is qualifications. There is a process. But people don't want to go through that or create their own process. Or they take the pure process and change it around and describe it in a different way. These are all forms of cheating. That's a Mahajano Yena Kata Sampanta. One has to understand it from the acharyas who come in the line of Krishna in disciplic succession. If you're not connected to one of the four sampradayas, then you're outside of the process.
Thank you, Maharaj.
It's, although Mahaprabhu has made it easy, it's not that because it's available and people can understand it. He's made it easy in the sense that you can approach it, but then you have to approach it in the right way. Just like chanting the holy name. If you're chanting the holy name with offenses, you can, as it says in the scriptures, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you'll chant for millions of lifetimes and you'll never get love of God. Because you're chanting with offense. Although you're chanting, but that chant, because the chanting is offensive, then you don't get the results of the chanting. That's it.
Thank you, Maharaj. Really, really deep.
Yeah, and so, when you go driving your car, you can say, well, I'm driving on the road. And, what are these green lights, red lights, stop signs, and direction signs? What are they for? That's not for me. All you have to do is get on the road and get there, right? But the rules of the road help you to get there in a safe way, along with everybody else. Of course, when you go to India, it's a little different, but that's something else. But they have their own system of rules there that has to be understood simply by associating with that atmosphere.
Maharaj, I like how you said it. They have their own set of rules by understanding. Because when we were in Mayapur last year, I can never forget Pritchard saying that the traffic system in India runs completely on telepathy. Completely. It's
Runs on what?
I don't know how telepathy, is that how you
On
pronounce
telepathy.
Telepathy, yeah.
Yes,
Telepathy, yeah.
because they have their own rules, Maharaj. It just,
Yeah, they're way above us. We're so stupid. We need all these other rules and regulations.
Hare Krishna. I have to laugh about they are above us, Maharaj. You're right. Hare Krishna. Oh boy. You might, because you know, Marge, like last year again when we were in Mayapur, you know, we were visiting the Holy Dham, and there was a rickshaw guy outside of the Dham, and I was getting in one, and next thing I knew, a rickshaw guy hit me from the back and just laughed and went away. I was like, "Whoa, Mayapur Dham ki jai." It was like they have their own rules, Marge. They're way above us. They'll hit you and they go. I was like, "Okay."
It's not that it's ideal, but it's the way they do it.
Absolutely, Marge. Absolutely. Hare Krishna. Sridevi, go ahead, Mataji.
But you know, I'm using that as something you shouldn't follow.
Yes, Maharaj, we should not follow. Yes, Maharaj.
Bhakti is a systematic process, step by step, of awakening one's natural love for Krishna. If you follow the process as given by the process, you're guaranteed to awaken your love for Krishna. But if you change it or add to it, then you'll get you won't get the results, or you may get something different. Or you get stuck and you won't be able to progress it beyond a certain point. You read Madhurya Kandambini, you read Rupa Goswami's understanding of the process of bhakti, you see there are very finer elements that have to be understood before you can actually get to more progressive stages or more higher stages of bhakti. Bhakti is not for everyone, because everyone, you know, Lord Chaitanya made it available for everyone, but still there's qualifications for a successful execution of bhakti. Before Lord Chaitanya came, it wasn't given to everyone. Certain classes of people were just not allowed to perform bhakti. Sudras were not allowed to study scripture.
Is it because it was sheltered, Maharaj, or is because they were concerned that it's going to be misused?
Yeah, misuse or not understood. There were, again, they had set and they set standards for understanding. But, you know, Narada Muni explains that it's not by material position, it's by following the process. If you follow the process. Kiratu hunam palinda pukasadam bira sambhava jnana keshadaya. That even people who are born outside of the Vedic culture, they're below the four varnas, they can also become purified if they take to the shelter of the pure devotees and engage in devotional service.
Thank you, Maharaj. Food for thought. Thank you. Sridevi, sorry. Go ahead, mother.
Thank you, Ansuya. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, Guru Maharaj, as you were explaining about the impersonalists and the voidist and how it is better for them to meditate on the universal form of the Lord, even for that, someone has to explain to them that the hairs on the body of the Lord are the trees, you know, the sun and the moon are his eyes, etc., etc. So if they have to meditate on the universal form of the Lord, that also needs explanation. Isn't it therefore easier to present the beautiful form of the Lord to them and say, here is God, here is Krishna, he's all attractive, he's so beautiful, worship him. And rather than this troublesome process of trying to see him in nature and so on and so on. Even Krishna says that process is very troublesome. So why should we direct them like that to see the form of the Lord in nature and the universal form of the Lord, rather than direct them to see the beautiful deity in the temple?
Well, there's people who go to work to make a living, but to those who engage in devotional service, Krishna takes care of them. So people are taking the hard process. I have to make money. I have to have everything. Therefore, I should work for it. But devotees don't have to work. All they have to do is serve the Lord, and everything is provided. So, same analogy. Most people are what we say unintelligent. Because their intelligence is contaminated by material desires and attachments, they can't see it. A person will read the package on the box of cigarettes that it says, cigarette smoking cause emphysema, complications in pregnancies, and ultimately death, and still they smoke. It's like willingly committing suicide. So people are not intelligent because they don't know how to get intelligence. Even material intelligence leads ultimately to more and more entanglement in the material world and more suffering. But there are people who are highly intelligent materially. They can create all of this high level technology, but still they're suffering and they're in illusion. They ultimately have to die and take birth again. So unless one comes to devotional service, they're getting in their intelligence from sources that give limited understanding and a kind of intelligence that simply is there to manipulate the material energy. That's all. Which ultimately leads to being controlled by that same energy they manipulate. People are trying to enjoy smoking, but they're controlled by the cigarette. Cigarette becomes their chain. So what I'm saying is people are not intelligent. That's why all of this goes on. They don't go where they don't take intelligence from the proper sources.
And that's because, Maharaj, they are still attached to sense gratification,
Yeah.
as the verse says.
Yeah. There's a level of intelligence that people need in order to enjoy this material world. And so they cultivate that. And they think that's the success. But it just entangles them more and more in different types of suffering, which complicates their lives more and more. That's all. They either want to play God or they want to deny God. Either one. They want to be like God or they want to deny God. Either one. This is the material world. We call the material world is called the fool's paradise. It's paradise, but it's foolish.
And we are caught in it.
Yeah. People think I'll go to Bermuda and have a nice vacation. They get bitten by a snake or get sunburned and suffer. Somebody steals their money. Anytime you try to enjoy this material world, you're creating an opportunity for further suffering. That's all. As soon as you try to enjoy it, it doesn't matter what you're trying to enjoy. If it's connected with something temporary, there is an element of suffering that will catch up to you in due course of time, simply by that activity. Just like eating. Shastras say if you eat without offering it your food, you're eating sin. And if you're eating sin, you're going to get a reaction for that sin, that form of eating.
Thank you, Maharaj. Sridevi, your hand is up. Go ahead.
I wanted to just follow up this about impersonalists, Guru Maharaj. In this day and age, we see that most people just dispense with even the idea of God. They are like atheist, I'm agnostic, I'm this and that. So are there really still people who are meditating on the Brahmajyoti for, months and months or years and years, or voidists who want to meditate? I mean, do people even believe in spending their time in meditation and things like that these days? Or they just take the easy way route. I'm an atheist. I don't have to bother about God.
The fact that you're mentioning it means it goes on. The fact that it's in the scriptures means it goes on. Ignorance is bliss.
Yes, Parikshit, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you, all glories to the Prabhupada.
We're getting
Um,
closer.
Hare Krishna. So, there's this point that sometimes in discussions among devotees, this situation comes up. It surprised me a number of times, and I wanted to just ask for clarity about it. So the Shastra says, Janma Karma Chame Divyam, that Krishna says his birth and activities are all transcendental. But then sometimes we get questions from devotees. How did he do that? We've had this. I'll give you one example. Balaram was going on pilgrimage, different places he visited, and he would bathe in the waters and so. And then he met some sadhus. So Balaram was by himself going. This is understood. Then he gave all of these 10,000 cows to the brahmanas. They go, how did he do that? And what's the best way to respond to this? So that's why I brought this Janma Samidhi. That's what I've used to tell them. Says Balaram is the whole spiritual world. How can he not give 10,000 cars, whatever he wants to? But why they even think that way is my point. Can you help sometimes, with other
Yeah,
answers to the words who get kind of bewildered like that?
they're defining the Lord's activities as material.
Ah.
Something goes beyond the material, then they think it's incredible, and they say, because they see it as material. But when you know God is all powerful, then whatever he does, you're not surprised, because his all powerful nature allows for him to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants.
Hmm.
They don't accept that, and therefore they see it as material. So when something goes beyond material, then they get a little bit amazed by that.
Hmm.
It's just another form of ignorance.
Hmm.
When you accept God for what he is, God means all powerful. That's the definition of God. If you don't accept him as God, as all powerful, then you're not accepting him as God, actually. God has certain innate qualities. One is all powerful. To get the position of God means you have to be all powerful. And there's only one person who is all powerful, that is God, because nobody is all powerful.
Thank you,
Why
Maharaj.
should we be amazed when Krishna's pastime? You know the story of the what was it? The cobbler, no, the Brahmin and the cobbler. You know that story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that story illustrates that point.
God was
The
passing an elephant
Brahmin,
through the eye of a needle. Yeah.
yeah, that when the Brahmin asked, you know, Narada Muni, what was Lord doing? He said he's threading an elephant through the eye of a needle. The Brahmin started to laugh. Said that's ridiculous. But when Narada Muni was asked by the cobbler, what was he doing? He agreed. And then Narada said, oh, you believe that? And then he pointed to a banyan tree. He said there's so many seeds in the banyan tree, and each seed contains the potential of another tree. So if he can put so many trees into seeds, then why is it difficult for him to, to thread an elephant through the eye of a needle?
Thank you, man.
That's why we shouldn't think these activities in the scriptures are fantastic. For God, everything is possible. Anything is possible. Prabhupada would speak about this quite often, about the all-powerful nature of God. And he would try to give examples by saying, Krishna can change day into night and night into day. So then you can't even think about how that's being done, but Krishna can do it.
Thank you, Marge.
Hiranyakashipu wanted to have the situation where he wanted that people perform sinful activities are elevated.
Thank you, Marge.
He wanted to change the rule of karma.
Wow. Yes, Veronica, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. I'm so grateful for this chance every day to hear from you, from all of you, especially from Guru Maharaj. Thank you for being here. I was thinking about the blessings in my life and how the Krishna's power to turn upside down one's life. And that's the everyday miracle that we have just to realize that it's wonderful. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And
Well, thank you for your appreciation. Yeah, the more we hear about Krishna, the more we understand how great he is. And if we just look around the world and the day-to-day activities of nature, we're seeing miracles every minute.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Veronica. Very nice question and nice, actually nice sharing and comment. Thank you so much. Any other questions from devotees? Going down the list to make sure that we are good. Okay. If there is, Silpesh, please, Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances over Srila Prabhupada. A quick question, when we have darshan, should we first look at Radharani's lotus feet and go upwards and then go to Krishna?
Look at them both together. I never heard that question asked before.
I was
Or
told approach
we take
Radharani.
darshan, we usually focus on Krishna. Radharani's there. If you know, you can also see Radharani in that same way, but we worship Radharani to get Krishna. Radharani is Prem Guru. She's a guru that delivers prema. She's the highest form of guru. But there are those who those who are Brijabasis, sometimes they simply exclusively worship Radharani. They worship Krishna only because Radharani worships Krishna. Otherwise, their main worship is Radharani. But this is a certain class of bhaktis who are exclusively focused on Radha. But I don't think we can jump to that level of worship. It's very high. They call Radharani. They call. Let me see. What is it? The word Radhanath. Radhanath means the Lord of Radha, which means Krishna. That's the meaning. But the Brijabasis, especially the the Varsanabasis, they say Radhanath means Radha who is Nath. That means Radha who is Lord. So I mean, if you want to go live in Vrindavan and associate with the Radha Bhaktas, you can do that, and then you'll gain that. After some time, you'll qualify yourself to become a Radha Bhakti. But generally, we glorify and worship Radharani so she delivers Krishna to us by her pure devotion.
That's why I was asking, because I thought you can get to Krishna through Radharani. So I thought you should first pay your obeisance to Radharani. That's what my understanding was.
I would say you could do that in your mind, pay your obeisances, and then proceed to follow the protocol for taking darshan with Krishna. Radharani has her hand like this, and that means two things. It means blessings, and it also means you're not qualified, so stop.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Bhakti Tirtha Swami used to say that all the time. You must have heard that, right, Anasuya?
Yes, Marge. I was actually going to say the second one means a slap, but you said it nicer.
Not a slap. She's saying, stop, don't try to go any farther. You're not qualified.
Yeah, it's like, don't mess with my Krishna. You're not qualified.
No, she's not like that.
I'm joking, Marge. Sorry.
She wants you to come to Krishna, but she understands, you better be, in the right mood.
Thank you, Marge. Very nice question, Silpesh Prabhu. Thank you. Any other questions from devotees? I'm going down the list to make sure that I don't miss anyone. I'm glad that I didn't miss Silpesh Prabhu as I was going down the list. I'm glad that I got his hand up. If there isn't much, would you like to end with a round of chanting, Maharaj?
Yes. You're sure. This will be, I have 15 rounds done. So I saved one for this one. So,
Thank you, Marge. Thank you.
this will be my favorite round. Jai Shri Krishna, Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Namo. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Oh. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Oh. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, and thank you to all the devotees for joining us. Vanchakaptibhyascha, Kripasindavevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Right.
Holiness
Thank you.
Candramauli Swami ki
Okay, so can I hold
Yeah.
later on when I can?
Oh, I thought that was an
Thank
announcement.
you. Thank you very much for today's class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Well, see you all tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Oma Gatri.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
When you take darshan,
Yeah. Continue. Oops. Now he's gone. No, he's there. Supesh, what do you say?
He muted himself. Don't know, Maharaj.
He's started to ask a question again.
no, so sorry, Maharaj. I just spoke out. Wasn't saying anything. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay, now we take darshan of something else like breakfast for me.
Yes, I've just offered lunch.
He's taking darshan of lunch and you're taking darshan of breakfast, Maharaj. That's
It's a very different kind of darshan.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Sukavaha.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah. We're getting closer to Anasuya's abode here.
how's
Hare
How?
The little grandson wants to offer obeisances to
Hare
Maharaj.
Krishna.
Hare
Oh,
Krishna.
Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Oh, so cute.
Dandavat pranam.
You want to see something?
Hmm.
How many of you understand Hindi? Not too many out there.
Full.
I can understand, Maharaj.
You can, and you'll
Yeah.
really appreciate this. So let me show you this. This is amazing.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Mhm. It's a video.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, here, and let me see. There's a couple videos here.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
Guru Maharaj, he wants to ask a question too.
What Krishna
Can you see
how
this?
did Krishna be
Okay.
why did
Yeah,
Krishna
Listen first, listen.
Can you hear it?
no, Maharaj.
No, Maharaj.
We can't hear it. Maharaj, send me on my WhatsApp. I'll check it.
There's a way of connecting this to the video here, to the Zoom.
I have no idea.
It's on my WhatsApp.
Hmm. Can you share?
I can share it, but not to everybody at once. And this is this miracle kid. He's about 5 years old, and he's chants shastras, gives classes.
Wow.
He's the most amazing kid. Yeah.
Wow.
God.
This kid is unbelievable.
Oh, wow. It's cutting up, Maharaj.
बस आप संतों की संग से और आप संतों की कृपा से। साधु संग सर्वशास्त्र तव मात्र साधु संग सर्व
साधु संग आगे सर्वशास्त्र को है ये सारे के सारे शास्त्र कहते हैं कि अगर साधु संग करे लव मात्र
Looks like we lost it.
Yeah. It's gone.
I can send it, yeah.
Yes, please. Thank
Look him
you.
up. His name is Madhava Das.
Madhavadas. Okay, fine.
He's on YouTube. Just look at
Mhm.
on YouTube, Madhava Das. The guy, I mean, he's astounding scholars with his brilliance. The kid is like 5 years old. He gives
Wow.
class. They ask him what his favorite verse is. He not only describes the verse, but he gives the meaning of the verse, and he explains practical things along with. Kids are amazing. Kids are
Wow.
Kid is really. You see I don't know if you saw, but there's an audience there of thousands of people who've come just to hear him.
Guru Maharaj, do you think this is from his previous life he's getting all this knowledge from, isn't it?
Yeah, what do you think?
I think so.
Absolutely.
So my thinking
He's a very elevated soul, Maharaj. You know, I mean, like
Exactly.
really elevated.
Yeah, but not only elevated, this kid is brilliant. I mean, he's only 5 years old.
So one of the elevated soul has come back to help us. That's so nice.
Yeah, and he'll chastise you too.
I would love to be chastised by him.
Actually,
He's
yeah,
a
you're right.
He said, "Don't fight with somebody who's more powerful than you." He says that.
Wow.
Oh.
I mean, he's not just memorizing. He's got an intellect that can discriminate and present things. And the kid is brilliant. I mean, he's really brilliant.
Wow. Need to listen to him. Madhava
Maharaj,
Das.
Sri Devi's grandson has a question to ask.
Well, we want him to be like that too.
I
Yes.
would like to say Ashloka Tadvidhi Pranipatena Pariprasthena Seva Umtakshati Tegyanam Yadina Tattva Darshana.
Now explain
Okay.
the meaning.
Now
Explain the
explain.
meaning.
For knowing the truth, we have to import the Guru.
Approach.
Yeah, approach the Guru
Good.
because they have already seen the truth.
Wow. We got another one in the making here.
Obeisances and worship
And service.
and serve.
Hmm.
What else?
Let me see if I can, I don't know.
Siddha.
Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Karaya Uday.
Sadhu prema. Sadhu kabu noy. Sadhya kabu noy. Shravanade.
Shravanadi Sudachita Karaya Uday.
48.
Kariya.
All living entities, pure love for Krishna exists. I have WhatsApp on my computer. I wonder if I can connect it to here where you can actually see this video.
Maharaj, then in that case, you can share the screen. Then play on your WhatsApp and then share the screen. Try.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should work.
So which means I have to give
Okay.
Maharaj.
Host.
I'm in my WhatsApp now. Okay, here it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna make my co-host. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make it.
So, how do I share this screen? Okay.
Your co-host now.
Yes, you can share the screen. There is an
So
arrow.
you just hit your share button and
Yes.
look at the screen and pick up the WhatsApp one.
Yes.
Okay.
Then
You will see a green button, Guru Maharaj, which says share screen down below.
share.
Okay.
Okay.
then here it is right here.
Click on that one.
Now we have to add share sound too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Share sound wherever it is. Click that. Check that. And
Oh,
then
there we go.
Yes. Coming up.
Okay.
Yeah.
there we go. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that always happens.
स्वीटी जी हाँ जी स्पाइसेस
Okay.
ऐसी वाणी बोलियो कि जम के झगड़ा होए, उससे झगड़ा न लीजियो जो तुमसे तगड़ा होए।
कौन से शास्त्र?
मैं 21 ग्रंथ से भगवद गीता, भागवतम, चेतन चरितामृत, ईशोपनिषद।
Okay. After that. Okay.
उपनिषद, उपदेशामृत, ब्रह्म संहिता और ब्रह्म दारण्यक उपनिषद और जैसे आदि पुराण, गरुड़ पुराण और भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु, लालसीमय प्रार्थना, आचार्यों की पदावली। वैसे तो मैं 50 ग्रंथ रोज पढ़ता हूँ, आप सब वैष्णवों की कृपा से। भोजन भजन एक बार उसमें भी आते हैं झंझट हजार, इसलिए झंझट बहुत आते हैं, इसलिए दिक्कत पड़ जाती है।
एक संत बैठा है छोटा सा माधव दास, ये दुनिया का सबसे छोटी उम्र का कथावाचक है। इसको भगवद गीता से, भागवतम से लेके, शास्त्रों से लेके वेद पुराण के सारे श्लोक याद है। जोरदार स्वागत करिए माधव दास जी का।
राधे 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 गोविंदा, राधे गोविंदा, राधे राधे राधे।
हरे कृष्ण माधव दास।
हरे कृष्णा।
कैसे हो आप?
मैं अच्छा हूँ।
तो आप इतनी छोटी उम्र में भागवत कथा कैसे करने लग गए?
बस आप संतों की संग से और आप संतों की कृपा से। साधु संग सर्वशास्त्र काये, लव मात्र साधु संग सर्व सिद्धि होए।
साधु संग आगे सर्व शास्त्र कोय, कि सारे के सारे शास्त्र कहते हैं कि अगर साधु संग करें, लव मात्र, कितना लव मात्र साधु संग सर्व सिद्धि होए। इसका अर्थ है, लव का अर्थ होता है 1 सेकंड का 14वां हिस्सा। कितना? 1 सेकंड का 14वां हिस्सा भी अगर आपने साधु का संग कर लिया तो क्या हो जाएगा? सर्व सिद्धि होए। तो उन्होंने क्रेडिट नहीं लिया, इन्होंने क्रेडिट दिया उन संतों को जिन्होंने इनको आशीर्वाद दिया है। तो आपका फेवरेट श्लोक कौन सा है?
मेरा फेवरेट श्लोक है एक ही, नाम संकीर्तनम यस्या सर्व पाप प्रणाशनम प्रणामो दुख समनस्त्वम नमामिं हरिम परम। नाम संकीर्तनम यस्या, हमें कुछ नहीं करना भैया, आज के युग से बच के रहो, क्योंकि आज के युग में क्या होता है, ऐसी वाणी बोलियो कि जम के झगड़ा होए, उससे झगड़ा न लीजियो जो तुमसे तगड़ा होए।
कब से कथा कर रहे हो आप? पहली बार कथा कब करी?
मैं पहली बार वहीं हरिद्वार में गंगा के तट पर।
कितने साल के थे तब आप?
जब मैं 5-6 साल का था।
5-6 साल के थे तब से कथा कर रहे हो? तो आपको कितने श्लोक याद है?
मेरे को अभी 3100
3100 श्लोक याद है। कौन कौन से शास्त्रों से?
मैं 21 ग्रंथ से, भगवद गीता, भागवतम, चेतन चरितामृत, ईशोपनिषद, उपदेशामृत, ब्रह्म संहिता और ब्रह्मदारण्यक उपनिषद और जैसे आदि पुराण, गरुड़ पुराण और भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु, लालसी मई प्रार्थना, आचार्यों की पदावली और कई सारे ग्रंथ हैं। उन वैसे तो मैं 50 ग्रंथ रोज पढ़ता हूँ आप सब वैष्णवों की कृपा से, बट इतना टाइम नहीं है क्योंकि भोजन भजन एक बार उसमें भी आते हैं झंझट हजार, इसलिए झंझट बहुत आते हैं, इसलिए दिक्कत पड़ जाती है।
भोजन भजन एक बार उसमें आते हैं झंझट हजार। तो माधवदास जी, आप स्कूल भी जाते हो या नहीं?
यस, जाता हूँ।
स्कूल के साथ कर लेते हो ये?
बस आप संतों की कृपा से स्कूल के साथ भी कर लेते हैं। अभी 5th में मेरे को फर्स्ट मिला है, एग्जामिनेशन में फर्स्ट आया हूँ मैं।
एग्जामिनेशन में भी फर्स्ट आया है? अमेजिंग अमेजिंग अमेजिंग। तो क्या ट्यूशन पढ़ के फर्स्ट आते हो या खुद ही पढ़ लेते हो?
ट्यूशन कभी पढ़ा ही नहीं।
अमेजिंग। तो ये इतने अच्छे संस्कार आपको कैसे मिले?
बस माता पिता ही हैं, क्योंकि माता पिता गुरु प्रभु की वाणी बिना विचार करे सुख जानी। बस माता पिता जो कहें, गुरु जो कहें, उस वाणी को मान लेना चाहिए बिना विचार किए।
माता पिता गुरु की वाणी को मानना पड़ेगा बिना विचार किए। जोरदार गाइस के महान, सच एन इंस्पिरेशन। माधवदास, अगर आप एक मैसेज सबको देना चाहते हो, किसी भगवत गीता के एक श्लोक से एक मैसेज देना चाहते हो, तो क्या मैसेज दोगे?
मेरा बस यही मैसेज है कि अनन्यास चिंतयन्तो माम ये जना पर्युपास्ते तेषां नित्य वियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं भाम्यम। केवल भगवान का अनन्य भाव से चिंतन कर लो। अनन्यास चिंतयन्तो माम ये जना पर्युपास्ते, केवल भगवान की उपासना कर लो, भगवान को तत्पर ले लो, भगवान को थोड़ा भी भगवान के हरि नाम में ध्यान दे लो। अनन्यास चिंतयन्तो माम ये जना पर्युपास्ते तेषां नित्य वियुक्तानां, हमेशा युक्त रहो। जैसे अर्जुन को वहां कहते हैं तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु माम अनुस्मरन् युद्ध चा, युद्ध भी करो और मेरा स्मरण भी करो। तो बस हमें भी इस मटेरियल वर्ल्ड से, इस माया से युद्ध भी करना है और भगवान का स्मरण भी करना है। और फिर भगवान कहते हैं कि योग क्षेमम भाम्यम, पैसे की चिंता मत करो, अपने आप मिल जाएगा सब।
आजा माना राधे 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 गोविंदा, आजा माना राधे 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 गोविंदा, आजा माना राधे 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 गोविंदा, राधे 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 राधे।
My favorite
Wow,
part is
Guru
when he
Maharaj,
said, don't worry
amazing.
about the money. Paisa chinta mat kar. That was the hilarious part. Don't worry about the money.
What do you think, Chicago?
Amazing, amazing, Guru Maharaj.
The boys.
Only listen to your Guru and believe whatever your Guru Maharaj tells you. That's
क्षण
great.
कौन सा था वो मेरी जान में ये वो क्षण जिस समय आपने अपने आप को हनुमान जी के चरणों में, उनकी भक्ति में, उनकी सेवा में अपने आप को लगा दिया, जो समर्पण आपने कर दिया, वो क्षण क्या था? हनुमान का अर्थ हुआ, भगवान राम का अर्थ हुआ, कृष्ण का अर्थ हुआ कि तुलसी धारण करनी, आपने रुद्राक्ष धारण करी, बाथरूम में हनुमान चालीसा गा देते हैं। हमें आप थोड़ा बताओ, ये अपराध है या ये भगवान का बोध है? भगवान राम थे, उन्होंने वध कब किया? रावण का दशहरे पे किया। तो भगवान की जो वापसी एग्जिट थी वो दशहरे पे थी कि दिवाली पे थी? जय श्री राम, जय सिया राम बोलना।
Share, Guru Maharaj.
Stop,
Hit on
yeah,
stop
stop share.
share.
Just stop share. That's it.
Oh, good.
Okay, that's better then.
नमस्कार, मैं डॉक्टर विवेक बिंद्रा, फाउंडर एंड सीईओ बड़ा business.com। जहाँ राम का नाम जप हो वहाँ हनुमान स्वयं चले जाते हैं, और जहाँ बात हो राम भक्त हनुमान की वहाँ इनके भजन सुनाए जाते हैं। मैं विवेक बिंद्रा आज स्वागत करता हूँ डॉक्टर विवेक बिंद्रा शो में, और आज इनकी बात कर रहा हूँ।
Raj, I think you will have to press stop on the video.
Yeah.
Have to do what?
You have to stop the video.
Video,
जिस सुंदरकांड पाठ को पढ़ने में मिनिमम 1 घंटा लगता है वो 48 मिनट में, क्षमा चाहता हूँ, 38 मिनट में पूरा कर लेते। 27 मिनट में 11 बार हनुमान चालीसा पढ़ दिया। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर, जग पीसती हूँ लोग उजागर, मन इतना पवित्र हो रहा है, क्या बताऊं आपको। इनके मुंह से निकला बजरंग बाण रातों रात सोशल मीडिया पर।
You know what, Mash? Why don't you close it? Like X the video out on the top.
It's all good. It's all good. Oh, don't worry.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जय सिया राम। कितनी जल्दी भगवान के पास जाओगे आप? कितना प्यार कर लोगे भगवान? कितना प्रेम कैसे कर लेते हो आप?
But see, we can end it from here though.
Yeah, honey, do
हम
that.
लोग भागते खाम।
All right.
Just stop, Guru Maharaj.
अंदर से भजन निकलता है।
Precious, stop the co-host on Maharaj.
लगा दिया कि जल्दी जल्दी
Stop what?
जल्दी जल्दी कर
The
देते।
co-host. Okay, yeah,
मैं
yeah.
तो हनुमान
Okay,
चालीसा
okay.
इतना विलंबित गा सकता हूँ। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा,
That didn't stop it.
It did. Maharaj is going to end it. Haribol Maharaj.
Beautiful body ki jai.